What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in to Next on Deck this week. I got my dad back for this segment. We will have a special guest later in the show talking about the NBA playoffs. So you'll see him later. But first, we're going to talk about the contract debates in the NFL, and we'll throw in a little Colin Kaepernick in there since he always seems to be in the media somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds good.
So the first guy we're going to cover today is Dalvin Cook. Now, Dalvin Cook, probably top 5 running back in the NFL, as I see it, wants a new contract because he has 2 years left on his rookie deal, and, he had a pretty good season last year. But the Vikings seem a little hesitant to give him the money. Dad, do you see Dalvin Cook being worth the contract extension that he wants?
And how many years is he looking for?
So I think he's looking for a similar contract as Ezekiel Elliott, which I believe his was 6 years, $90 million, something in that ballpark. But he wants the big bucks.
Well, he's definitely a good player. There's no doubt. He's injury prone. But I think the bottom line is running backs just seem to kind of come back through the draft so quickly. And is it worth putting that kind of money out for somebody? Look at the Steelers. They let Le'Veon Bell go, and then they found James Conner. So it's a tough decision. I wouldn't want to be the one making it.
So I don't know if you want to base this Dalvin Cook situation off of the Steelers because, my opinion, James Conner is not, all he can be, especially without Bell because he's kind of the main focus. But that's on another note. I would not give Dalvin Cook the money. And the reason why is because Dalvin Cook is very injury prone. I believe last year was his first full season out of the 3 seasons that he's played. He's torn his ACL. He's missed 20 plus games probably. It's going to be hard to rely on a guy like that when you throw a bunch of money at him, especially since they just extended Kirk Cousins 2 years for like $50 million or something like that. So it's tough to say, especially it's hard to argue with the numbers. Dalvin Cook is putting up over 1,000 rushing yards and can be a good receiver out of the backfield, but I don't know if he's worth the kind of money that he wants. Next one is Dak worth the money? I know he just recently signed a franchise tag because he seems antsy to get on the field, but do you see him getting that contract extension?
I mean, I think they probably should extend him. I mean, they've got Andy Dalton, which is a strong backup, and it'd be interesting to see what he could do on a team, with more weapons. But, Dak's, I think he's looking for, number one money, and he's not in the top 3 or 4 overall quarterbacks
Not
in my
close.
opinion. So, I say they can call his bluff and let him walk if it comes to that.
Yeah, and especially since Dak is not very good against playoff teams, which is what the Cowboys are trying to get to, because it's been a while for them.
Right.
But, with the kind of record Dak has with, playoff teams, I don't think he's worth the money either. I could totally see someone giving it to him because, there's a lot of chumps in the NFL head office, but
There always will be somebody willing to do that.
Yep,
yeah.
there'll always be someone. So yeah, we'll see how Dak does. Maybe he has an MVP-like season. The Cowboys do give him the money, but we'll have to see. So the last question we have on this segment today is Colin Kaepernick. So why has Colin Kaepernick not been signed yet? Especially with the Black Lives Matter movement, you think that would kind of help him?
I think it's the hair. I think I think the aerodynamics. I mean, we're runners. I know he has a helmet and stuff, but I feel like it's going to slow him down. So I think if he cut his hair, I can't get past the hair. No, in all seriousness, I think he deserves a shot. He showed he could play before, and he's done a lot of really good things with this cause. So, we're both Steeler fans. We'd certainly love it because Ben's at the end of his career, and we don't have a whole lot behind him, so I'd certainly be willing to give him a shot.
I think what teams are worried about is his actual work ethic. He's probably eating plenty of those on the couch right now. But yeah, so I think his work ethic and general locker room presence could be an issue. But you know, he's a little older, and I don't know if he can still run like he used to. But you know, I still think he'd be a solid quarterback, solid backup at least for someone. So kind of some of the teams I saw him going to were the Bengals. I think would be decent. You know, good backup for Joe Burrow, especially losing Andy Dalton. The Patriots, obviously, because you know the Patriots need a quarterback after Brady. The Lions, you know, Colin Kaepernick could be a decent backup, and you know, since it's in Detroit, he wouldn't create you know, not as much attention would be on him. I feel like,
Right.
you know, then you got the Redskins, the Jets, and the Steelers are my last three teams, and
I
obviously,
feel like the Jets always need something. Someone always wants to leave. Not too many people want to go there. Who knows?
no, I don't know. They're the Jets. They
are the Jets.
I don't know what else to say besides that. Yeah, so I think Colin Kaepernick probably want to go to the Jets out of all of these teams because you know with the New York media and everything like that, and especially since he honestly, if he really tried, I think he could beat out Sam Darnold for the starting position. So yeah, this covers this part of the segment. We are gonna tune in with our special guest about the NBA playoffs right now. So our next topic we're going to be talking about today is the NBA playoffs, and I got a special guest with me, Justin Lamanna.
Yep.
So,
What's up, guys?
lifelong Cavs fan, right, or just LeBron fan?
Huge LeBron fan.
LeBron
Cavs fan.
Cavs fan. Okay. Yeah. Too bad the Cavs won't be, you know, making their way to Orlando. But you know, we'll talk about more relevant teams today.
Okay. Wow.
So basically what the NBA decided to do is that they're set to start July 30th, and they're going to have a 16-day regular season, so they're going to play about 8 games. And for the 8th seed, they're going to have a play-in tournament. So the first round is supposed to start August 18th, and the 20s like a couple days before that. So the teams they invited back, the qualifications they had to have, they had to be within, I believe it was 6 games of the 8th seed. So the only Eastern team that got invited that technically wasn't in the top 8 was the Wizards. And the Western teams that weren't in the top 8, which was basically the rest of the Western Conference except the Warriors and the Timberwolves. So the situation with the 8th seeds, if they're fewer than 4 games after the regular season, they get a chance to play in the tournament. But the tournament's kind of, you know, it's laid out kind of weirdly. I don't know if they did the greatest job with this.
Definitely could have been refined more, but it is what it is. Yeah. I'm just happy to have sports back.
So the thing is, if they're within 4 games, they get to play. But the thing is, it's kind of like how Little League used to be, where they have to beat the 8th seed twice to get in, and the 8th seed only has to beat them once. So right now, the Grizzlies are 3.5 games ahead of the Trailblazers. And the Magic are 5.5 ahead of the Wizards. And considering John Wall probably won't play for the Wizards, the East is basically locked up. So, going into that, who do you see winning the 8th seed in the West?
Winning the 8th seed in the West?
So, let me just remind you, the teams that got a shot or that are remaining are the Grizzlies have the 8th seed right now. Then it's the Trailblazers, the Pelicans, the Kings, the Spurs, and the Suns.
Well, I think the Kings, the Spurs, and the Suns are all out. For all intents and purposes. I personally love the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be...
gotta love John Morant.
Absolutely. He's been killing it.
Probably rookie of the year. Yeah.
Yes,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Probably rookie of the year.
He's been killing it. I think they have a great young core and some veterans that can really show them what to do in the playoff experience. Jay Crowder's on the team, who I personally love. He's been to the playoffs a couple times with LeBron.
Yeah.
He's been there with the Celtics. He knows what he's doing. And I think they have a real chance at pulling it off. Well, Trailblazers, I think, always find a way to upset higher-ranked teams. I think they have the talent to definitely pull it off, and it's hard to rule out Zion. So I could see any of them. I'm pulling for the Timberwolves personally, but I could see any of the 3 coming in and taking the 8th spot.
Well, I think, did you mean the Trailblazers? Because you said the Timberwolves, and they're not in it.
I meant the Trailblazers.
Trailblazers, right. Yeah, because I love Damian Lillard.
Absolutely. He's a game-day player.
Oh, for sure.
He may be the clutchest player in the league.
You remember that shot last year against
Absolutely.
the Thunder?
Against
Cool.
Paul George?
That was probably one of the. I know it's like kind of cringy word, but that was probably one of the most savage shots ever.
That was an insane shot.
Yeah, it really was. And that wasn't even like a normal three. It was a step back, like
Fade away.
oh yeah, it was
Like 5 feet behind the arc.
Crazy.
It was insane.
So if Dame can, they got a shot. I feel like they've had a lot of injuries in the season. But as long as if Lillard and McCollum can kind of,
Get in a rhythm.
yeah, exactly. If they can get their teammates involved, and if Whiteside can control the paint, they got a decent shot at the 8th seed. But as we both know, to be honest, it's not really going to matter because LeBron's going to crush them 4-0, 4-1 either way. Our next question is, who do you see winning the NBA title? Do you see the Raptors taking it?
I personally
Again?
don't see anyone out of the East even competing with the West.
Okay.
Now, I think Giannis may be the best player in the league at this point. Giannis is absolutely insane. The Raptors have a great team. I just don't see anyone being able to compete with the Lakers or even the Clippers.
Okay.
And even though there's some great teams for the East, I think the East has been kind of overrated these last couple seasons.
Okay.
And I can't see anyone competing with the West right now.
Yeah, it's kind of weird having LeBron in the West now, like with the whole the playoff atmosphere, because LeBron would dominate the East.
Yeah.
That's how he got to the finals. 9 years in a
Obviously.
row. Yeah, clearly. So Giannis seems like he's set to be the next guy, but when it comes to the playoffs, teams just know how to shut him down and can't perform. Not a game day player.
Well, I mean, he's been working on his shot this season. I think it's really been coming along. So maybe
Yep.
you'll see him break out in the playoffs. But
Maybe.
I still don't think that his number 2 is Chris Middleton. I don't see that being enough to
Right.
carry a team to the finals.
Yeah,
Or maybe get to the finals, but not win the finals.
Right. So, my team, the Sixers, it's hard to admit, but I don't think they got a shot.
I don't think so either.
Right now they're set to play the Celtics, and I think we match up against them, pretty well, considering that no one is going to cover an Embiid. He's going to be a monster in the paint when it comes to the Celtics. And Ben Simmons, he's a great defender, but
Offensively needs a lot of work.
offensively needs some work. He made, I think it's 1 3-pointer this season, so it's better than last year, which is 0. But the Sixers away are 10-24.
Wow.
10-24. The Knicks almost have a better away record than us. They are 10-20.
I was not
Actually,
aware of that. That's
that is
brutal.
technically better than us because they are 10-23. So the Knicks have a better away record than us, and we have to play in Orlando. I do not see a possibility where the Sixers win this.
I personally like the Sixers. I could see him
Oh,
beating the
gotta love
Celtics if they do end up matching up against the Celtics. I think they could win that series. I don't see them moving past the semifinals though.
No, because when you think about it, they're not going to stop Giannis.
Yeah.
And they have, I don't know, because they almost beat the Raptors last year.
Yeah, we know
that
what happened.
shot, that Kawhi shot.
I was living in Philly. We know what happened.
I still get nightmares from seeing that shot, like on my Instagram feed. I just close my eyes. I just scroll right past
double
it.
doink.
Dude, it was rough, especially because Simmons was covering him that play.
Yeah.
And he gave up halfway through the play, and Embiid almost saved his ass by going over there and trying to block that shot. And then
It was such an awkward bounce off the rim. I was like, "There's no way that's going in."
Yeah,
and then all of Philly died.
all of Philly died, and every time I see a shot like that, I just call it the Kawhi bounce. You got but I still think the Sixers, since they lost Jimmy Butler, who was big in that series.
Speaking of Jimmy Butler, real quick, if you don't mind talking about it,
go ahead.
I see the Heat being a real issue in the East. I don't think they're going to win anything particular, but maybe they could pull off an upset in the first round.
I could see that.
And they've been a real thorn in people's sides this season. And I could see them pulling some in the playoffs.
Right, because right now they are the 4th seed, I believe.
3rd seed, not 4th seed.
They are the 4th seed. Well, they are 2.5 games behind the Celtics, so that may change. But as set right now, they are the 4th seed. So they would play the Pacers in the first round, who have Victor Oladipo, which there are questions if he's going to come back or not because of his injuries. And even when he did play, coming back from his injury, he was struggling. He was only shooting like 30%, something like that. So I could totally see them, kicking the Pacers out of the first round. Then after that, they probably have to play the Bucks. Don't think they have a chance against the Bucks.
You never know what could happen. I don't see them being the Bucks, but I think it'd be a good matchup versus the Pacers. They can take that in probably 4 or 5 games, and then we'll see what happens with the Bucks if they make it.
To be quite honest with you, I was surprised when Jimmy was able to lead the Heat to this kind of record.
Me too.
Jimmy, we miss you. If you're watching this, come back to Philly.
Dude,
I know
we
didn't.
Philly.
I know we didn't offer you that contract, but come back. I mean, we need you, man. You're the fourth piece. It fits the team together. He was the leader for us.
I love Jimmy buckets, but
I know it was sad.
Yeah, I didn't even see him being a playoff preseason,
yeah.
but they really showed people up. I love it.
Oh yeah, for sure. So talking more about the West, do you see the Clippers beating the Lakers, or vice versa? Who do you see winning that series?
I personally don't. I don't see that happening.
You don't see the Clippers winning?
I don't see a scenario where the Lakers don't make it to the finals.
Do you think you're a little biased because of LeBron?
I don't think so. I think the Lakers just have an insane team. And LeBron, I mean, of course I'm a LeBron fan, but LeBron is the best talent in the NBA in the last 20 years.
Yeah, I agree
think
with
ever,
you.
but
That
we can disagree wherever.
That Anthony Davis addition,
absolutely
insane.
Probably they have tons of bench depth. I love Danny Green as a role player. I think he's a great defender, great 3-and-D player.
The guy who killed LeBron a couple years ago when he was on the Spurs comes back and might help him out in the finals this year if they make it.
It's true. McGee has been playing great. Dwight Howard has had a great season coming off the bench, and even when he's been rotating in the starting lineup, I think they have all the bench depth and all the star power they could need to take on anybody in this league.
Right. Back to Anthony Davis. I think possibly LeBron's greatest teammate of all time. I know it's only been a year, but
I agree. I mean,
they really
Anthony
got that.
Davis is an insane talent.
They got that chemistry.
Maybe Dwayne Wade, but
it's hard to say that he's better than D Wade. It is.
I agree, but Anthony Davis is an insane talent. I think they fit into that team perfectly. I think everyone knows their position on that team, and everyone seems to be working hard. LeBron says he's putting together off-season workouts for the team in LA, and I think it'd be hard for. I think they have the most chemistry in the league.
So what is your finals prediction? Who do you see the Lakers facing?
I think it's gonna be the Lakers and the Bucks.
Lakers Bucks. Okay.
Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5. Wow. I think I'm gonna say my prediction. I'm going bold here. I think Kawhi is gonna pull off another playoff run. I don't want to jinx it because I love LeBron, but I see some teammates getting hurt, and I don't see them being at full strength. And I see the Lakers going down in 6 in the Western Conference Finals to the Clips. And then I see Giannis failing in the East once again. I don't think he's going to pull it off this year. So I see the Celtics making it. It's a bold call, but I'm saying Clippers beat Celtics in 6.
You said we can swear on this podcast, so respectfully, I'm going to have to tell you to eat shit. But absolutely not. I don't see the Celtics coming out. I personally love Jaylen Brown, and I love Jason Tatum, and I think the young players on that team are absolutely amazing. But adding Kemba Walker, I think, kind of ruined up their development process. And as great as a player I think Kemba is, I think he should have gone to the Lakers or even the Clippers or a contender who could have found cap space for him. But I really think the Celtics should have been more in development mode because they have 2 potential all-stars on their team who, they're 4 years into the league. I think they really should have taken some time to develop them instead of putting another ball-dominant player on the court.
That's a decent point, but, if they didn't sign Kemba, their starting point guard probably would have been Terry Rozier. We don't even know if it would have been Terry Rozier, actually, because the Hornets just threw a bucket of money at him, and that was probably one of the worst.
That was a terrible move for both of them. That was an awful move for both of them.
The Hornets are turning into the next Knicks. Yeah, so...
You have to be good at some point to go on the decline. Last time the Hornets were good, the Knicks were good, too.
Wow, and it's a long time ago, too. So there you have it. Those are our NBA Finals predictions. Thank you, Justin,
No
for
problem, man.
being
Thanks
on the
for having me.
podcast today. No problem. We'll definitely tune you in for another couple episodes. We'll definitely have them on for when the NBA playoffs are actually happening in about a month.
Hell yeah.
We'll see how our predictions unfold. And thanks for tuning in next on deck. We'll see you next week.